All right, YouTube, what is going on? It is Zaya here from Zaya&TheSteelers back with another video. And in today's video, we are going to be talking about some things that are going right for the Pittsburgh Steelers. So if you guys are Steelers fans or you enjoy NFL content in general, be sure to hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, ring the bell for notifications. We are on the road to 2,000 subscribers. Shout out to the people who have subscribed already. And shout out to the future subscribers, man. Also, let's get a shout out to the members. If you guys would like to support me and this channel more, be sure to hit that join button down in the description below. And what a time it has been, man, over these last 2 weeks, because we started the season out 3-0 and everything was positive. We could do no wrong. And then all of a sudden, things started falling apart. All of a sudden, injuries started happening. All of a sudden, we dropped 2 straight games. And I haven't heard a positive thing about the Pittsburgh Steelers in a minute. So, of course, we have a lot of issues. Of course, there is a lot of things to talk about when it comes to the wrongness of this team, when it comes to the problems that this team's face, specifically in the wide receiver department, because we all know the wide receiver room, and we all predicted this, the wide receiver room has not been very good. Who would have saw it coming? Who would have saw it, who would have saw this happening? We trade Deontay Johnson. We sign players like Van Jefferson, and, I hyped up Van Jefferson a lot. I was very excited for the guy, but at the end of the day, it was Van Jefferson. You know what I mean? And it turns out we were all right as Steelers fans, right? We were all right about it. The Quez Watkins who ended up getting cut. I said Quez Watkins was on the team, but yeah, he ended up getting cut. But the wide receiver room is so stagnant. It's so stale. It's like, is Quez Watkins here, And then we have like the Calvin Austins of the world, and Roman Wilson, he hasn't played yet. And so we look at the wide receiver room, and it's just not the greatest, right? It hasn't been a good time. But what has been a light that has shined through the darkness? What has been like a saving grace of this team, perhaps? In my opinion, it is big Justin Fields, man. So we have this chart here. Shout out to Baku. And this shows quarterback accuracy and average separation. So if we look here, Jaden Daniels, you can't see him because of my webcam, but Jaden Daniels, he's all the way at the top right, meaning he's accurate as fuck. And his receivers are getting separation, right? And then if we look at this left side, these are the wide receivers who aren't getting much separation. And then up here is like where they're accurate. Down here is like where they're inaccurate. And so you see quarterbacks like Dak Prescott, he's being inaccurate and his wide receivers aren't really getting the most separation. But then Anthony Richardson, he is being very inaccurate, but his wide receivers are creating separation. So this is kind of a chart that shows like what's been going on. And you see Justin Fields all the way over here, man. This guy, he's able to have the accuracy like the Geno Smiths. Like, I can't believe you have to say like the Geno Smiths in 2024. But this is what happens when you let people cook, man. When you let Justin Fields cook, man, he gets to be on this graph just like Geno Smith. The Josh Allens of the world, the Tuas of the world. Of course, he got hurt, but you know what I'm saying? The Jared Goffs, the CJ Strouds, even the Mahomes. His accuracy is on this level. But the problem is the wide receiver room isn't the best. And we look at our offensive line. We're not really letting him have the most time. He's running for his life. The run game, we've been hurt there in that department. Najee Harris is, he's trying his best, but, it just hasn't really been that running game that we thought it was going to be. But Justin Fields, man, I'm here to say I have watched every game. I have watched every snap. I have seen exactly how this team has gone. I've seen exactly how this team has worked. And outside of our play calling, outside of how scared we play on offense, Justin Fields, to me, has shown nothing but greatness. He has shown nothing but potential. He has shown nothing but positivity. And there is no reason for us to mess this up by putting in Russell Wilson, in my humble opinion. Now, of course, this is going to be talked about as Russell Wilson continues to get healthy. It is going to be talked about because Russell Wilson was the listed quarterback one coming into the season. He ended up, I don't know if he actually beat Justin Fields out, because if we talk about it, like, he got hurt in the offseason process, in the preseason process. And so he was just kind of handed the job, you know what I'm saying? Like, he never actually beat Justin Fields, I don't think, to that quarterback one spot. Maybe he did in practice or whatever, like before the season started, but even then he was kind of hurt, and Justin Fields played a lot. And so when we talk about the actual competition of it all, I don't think it's crazy to say that Justin Fields maybe, just maybe, could have beat Russell Wilson out fairly in like a fair competition, and like a fair, we're not just going to start Russell Wilson out of the gate, right? I think, to me, that's not crazy to say, especially with how he's played so far, especially with how he's played in his career. And we talk about it, a lot of people, they're sleeping on Justin Fields. They think he is the problem with the offense. They think if we get another quarterback that we would look a little bit better. But guys, this has been the same team for the last 4 to 5 seasons with this offense shit. It doesn't matter if we put Justin Fields out there. It doesn't matter if we put Kenny out there, Big Ben, Mason Rudolph, Mitchell Trubisky. We have looked stagnant. And listen, what Mason Rudolph did in those 3 games, it really helped at the time of the season. It really helped propel us into the playoffs. But boy, oh boy, did those 3 Mason Rudolph games set us back generations when it comes to quarterback talk in the Pittsburgh Steelers. Because Mason Rudolph, because he hit 2 deep passes to George Pickens, we put up a decent amount of points. He looked good. I don't want to say this Mason Rudolph will never be a starter. He will never be a good quarterback in the NFL because, he was a Steeler at one point. I don't want to put that on him. I love all my my former Steelers. And so, maybe, just maybe, Mason Rudolph has something in the tank, right? But for the most part, the quarterback room, the play calling has looked exactly the same for the last couple of seasons. And so for you to say Justin Fields isn't necessarily doing it, but when Mason was there, when Kenny was there, when Mitch was there, to me, outside of the 3 Mason Rudolph games, Justin Fields easily looks the best of the span of the last couple of years. And on top of that, if we take into account that Mason Rudolph gave us tons of games where he was not having this 27 points per game, where he was not having this 2 touchdowns, 300 yards, no interception games. When you take that into account, you start to realize, okay, the system is the problem. You know what I'm saying? It's not the player, it's the system. We keep moving these quarterbacks, we keep putting these guys in, and the points stay the same outside of, once again, the 3 Mason Rudolph games that really helped. But the problem is the system. And we take a look at Justin Fields in Chicago. I was talking to my friends about this. In Chicago, Justin Fields, it came away with losses for sure. He did not win most of these games that we're talking about. But it's not like he just went out dying. You know what I'm saying? Justin Fields is able to compete. Justin Fields is able to put up these 30, these 40 points per game if necessary. If we get into a shootout, Justin Fields is able to do that. And we take it back to the Cowboys game. He did kind of get us the lead there at the end of the game. We ended up on a scoring drive. We scored a touchdown to take the lead, and we were relying on the highest paid defense to, lock the game up for us. It didn't happen. Typically, the defense is able to do that. Typically, we are able to escape with these wins. But Justin Fields, he gave us that win late in the game, right? In the Colts game, we didn't just die. We battled. It didn't end up proving, you know what I'm saying? We didn't end up getting that win, but we continued to battle. Who did we play in week 3 that was kind of, it wasn't the Broncos. I feel like it was a team after that. But either way, there was a game this season where we were kind of down, and Justin Fields, he was able to stay in it, battle back, get us that touchdown at the end, and that's all we needed, and who used to do that? Kenny Pickett. I get that, but if you're going to sit here and tell me that shit doesn't look different with Justin Fields than it did with Kenny Pickett, you're a liar. You know what I'm saying? You're a liar. We can pull up the stats, and no matter how close they are, no matter how the points per game is 0.4 off, and the touchdown interception thing is right there, I don't care. If you watch Kenny Pickett and if you watch Justin Fields, if you've been watching the games, you can tell that there is a difference in the quarterback room. And so the fact that Russell Wilson getting healthy, we dropped 2 straight games, it doesn't help. But the fact that Russell Wilson gets healthy and now all of a sudden it's should we start Russ? Should we start Justin Fields? To me, you got to let Justin Fields play this out because there is a real chance that this guy could be our quarterback of the future. There is a real chance that this guy can be an actual piece for us and continue to play for us for the next couple of seasons. And unfortunately for Russell Wilson, it was just bad timing, man. That's really all you can say about it. It was just horrible timing. He gets hurt, and Justin Fields actually is a really good quarterback in my opinion. And so we'll see what ends up happening with Russ. I don't know exactly what we should do or shouldn't do with Russ. But at the end of the day, if you're sitting here pointing at Justin Fields yeah, he is the reason why we have dropped 2 straight games. He is the reason why this offense looks so stale. And he is and we got to put Russell Wilson in because if we put Russell Wilson in, all of a sudden the offense is just going to start turning up. To me, that is just, that is very wishful thinking in my opinion. I think if we put Russell Wilson in, we look exactly the same as we do. Maybe there's a throw here and there that gets completed, but also then you take into account the rushing thing. While Russell Wilson is, mobile, he's not as mobile as Justin Fields, and so maybe you get a 1 or 2 more completed passes, but I also think you lose stuff in the rushing department, and so there's that. And then also too, as I've mentioned, the running game just isn't exactly where we need it to be at this current moment. I believe we're getting Jaylen Warren back this week. Hopefully we can get Roman Wilson back at wide receiver this week. But yeah, just right now, there are far more problems than the quarterback department. And to me, this is a very good sign because it wasn't always like that. When Kenny Pickett was out there, that was another thing that we probably had to address. When Mitchell Trubisky was out there, it was another thing we had to address. Old-ass Big Ben, we had to address the quarterback room. Mason Rudolph, we had to address the quarterback room. That was always on the mind. That was always on the topic. But now we're at the state where I don't think we really do need to adjust the quarterback room. I don't think we need to look at it. I just think we need to continue to let Justin Fields play. He's going to be a free agent after this season. You know what I'm saying? Depending on how it plays out, I think you give him another deal and you continue to roll with Justin Fields. I believe he has this ability. He can have this talent. But right now, the wide receiver room is not very good. The offensive line, we're not really doing the best. The run game, we're not really doing the best. The play calling, we're not really doing the best. It is a lot of things adding up to negative parts about the Pittsburgh Steelers. But like I said, the one shining light to me has been Justin Fields, man. He has been very good. He has been quite successful too in this offense. I know once again we've dropped the two games, but early in the season, we won 3 games. He was looking really good. We were all hype about Justin Fields. We were making graphics. We were making edits about the guy. Like, he has a real chance to become the Pittsburgh Steelers quarterback of the future. And to me, and he hasn't even really been turning the ball over like that, man. Like, what are we talking about? That Justin Fields is the reason why we've dropped these last 2 games. Like, I just think that's blasphemous. I think that's nonsense. And I'm in on Justin Fields. I was in on Russell Wilson before the season started, but I am just an objective Steelers fan. I love all of my Steelers, and so you know what I'm saying. I gotta take what they're giving me, and what they're giving me right now. I have to be honest with you guys. I'm not ready to move off of Justin Fields. I just don't think that is the smart play. I don't think that is the move. I feel like he's getting better each week, and if we just kind of lock things up on the offensive department, we're going to be a really good team, man, and we still have a chance to compete this season. Like I said, I know it's been a lot of doom and gloom out of me. But that's just because I'm so over this offense shit, you know. But objectively, I still think we have a chance, of course. And if you're writing us off yet, or if you're writing us off already, like, yeah, I think you're bugging, you know. And we're still tied for like the number one, not the number one seed, but we're still tied for the top of the AFC North. So like all we have to do is win our division, and we're in the playoffs, right? You know. And the rest of the Browns and Bengals, like, I know the Bengals had like a shootout against the Ravens, but like the Browns suck. They're in the mud. They're not going to be a problem that we have to deal with, you know. So the Browns, they're out of it. Deshaun Watson is horrible. And then Cincinnati, they started off slow. Maybe they'll pick things up, but really it is about us and the Ravens right now in the AFC North. And like I said, I really think we can win the division still, especially maybe if we make a trade for a wide receiver like Big Devontae Adams or something like that, then like already give us the division, you know. But yeah, if we could just continue with this team that we have now, and we tighten some things up, if the defense just gets a stop at the end of the game, we're 4-1. You know what I'm saying? If we don't just get punched in the mouth by the Colts at the very start of the game, we're 5-0. You know, so like it's very close to being undefeated, and it's very close to the narrative being completely different. So I think the people who are like going so hard on Justin Fields, the fact that that's even a story is crazy to me, you know. Next up, we have another chart right here just to like really specify what's been going on. So this is a tweet from Derek. Separation graphs can be deceiving, but this one does match the eye test for Steelers players. 14 gets open when he's engaged. 19 limited but improved route runner. 88 separates well versus safeties and linebackers, and then 11 the chart matches the eye test. So this is obviously George Pickens, Calvin Austin, Muth, and Van Jefferson. Van Jefferson is all the way down here. He does not win in the man coverage department. He bad man bads. He's bad against both. Muth is up here. I believe this means he's good against man, but pretty bad against zone. Pickens is right here. That means he's just good. He's just good. You know what I'm saying? When he's engaged, he's just good. And then Calvin Austin is kind of down here. He's not as good in whatchamacallit in man as Muth. But he's doing his thing. And like we're just looking like Van Jefferson playing as many snaps as he does, and he's just all the way down here is terrible, right? Pickens up here is very good. Brandon Ayuk, man, look how far this guy is. Like this guy is just dominant. He's good against man. He's good against zone. He's just always getting separation. He's always open for his quarterback. You guys, you see, we weren't bugging when we wanted Brandon Ayuk, man. Like we weren't bugging for going as hard as we did. So there's that. But yeah, like it's the same problems over and over and over again. We talked about the wide receiver room at the beginning of the season, like, hey, this could be spooky. Fast forward, and it's still kind of spooky. The last thing I have right here is a video of just like some drops. You know, we have Connor Hayward right here. He dropped this pass. This is all in the same game too, I believe, against the Cowboys. So he drops this pass, and then we have a George Pickens that goes right through his fingers, and then we have another throw right here to Connor Hayward again. This is another drop. You know, and these are all plays, like I said, against the Cowboys. 13-10, fourth quarter. What are we gonna do? Van Jefferson, he just drops it. He can't do it, man. Like this is continuously happens throughout the game, and the fact that this happens, then it's like, oh, Russell Wilson can fix this. What can Russell Wilson fix about this right here? Well, he can make the receivers catch the ball. Does Justin Fields have to throw it up and catch it himself? You know, this is the wide receiver rooms we're giving him. This is the effort we're giving him, and it's just not. You know what I'm saying? It's not like culpable. It's not palpable in order to have a successful team. And it's no wonder why we're dropping some of these games. It's no wonder why we're scoring no points per game, because our play calling is shitty. And then when we call the plays, when like it's time to like complete the passes, we fucking drop it, man. And so like there's been a bunch of drops. There's been a bunch of bad play calls. And we are going to get it together. Like honestly, I know we're going to get it together. I know things are going to look better. But the main point of this all was we can't just like this is not all on Justin Fields. You know what I'm saying? We can't just be like, oh, it's Russell Wilson time now. Like that is absolutely insane, and Justin Fields just sucks. That is absolutely insane. In the comments below, I know there's going to be some Justin Fields haters. you guys, like, I don't get it. Like, what is the shtick about hating on Justin Fields? I just don't get it. Like, what do you gain from this? You know, what do you gain about lying about Justin Fields? Like, no one is saying this guy is Tom Brady. Nobody is saying that this guy is the greatest quarterback ever. All I'm saying is he's playing like a starter. He's playing pretty good, and I think we can continue to have him be the starter, you know? So that's just my take on it. Let me know down in the comments what you guys think. Is Justin Fields the problem? Should we start Russell Wilson? Should we trade for Devontae Adams? Should we get any other wide receiver ever? Let me know, like I said, down in the comments below. Anyways, I think that is going to do it for me for this video. This has been Zaya from Zaya and the Steelers. If you enjoy videos about the Steelers, I make them all the time, so definitely check out some other videos on the channel. And I will see you in the next one. Peace out.